Good morning. I'm your guest, Time for All Ages teller today. I'm happy to support Karen. And I wasn't quite expecting this crowd, and I'm going to try to work with it. So, let's see, I'm trying to think off the top of my head how I would do it if the important people were here. No offense. What's that? Okay, well, clearly Caleb gets what's going on here. So, Caleb, do you want to come up front? I wouldn't. I would not. All right, let's pretend that there were a lot of children here, and this is what I'd be saying. Okay. I would probably kind of go back here and invite all the children to come back here, which would feel very strange, would it not? I'd say, do not go up there. I would say, do not go up there. Oh no, not yet. And we'd be gathering here, and I'd ask, are you ready? And the kids would say, yeah, sure, time for all ages. And so I'd lead them up, and I'd say, okay, careful, careful. Let's get ready. Get ready, go slow. And then I'd say, stop. Right here. Because right here is a threshold. Right here is a crossing. And it's always here, although sometimes we need the smaller people to make it so. Sometimes. And I would say something like this. Are you ready to cross that threshold? Because you know what's going to happen there. We're going to hear a story, and we're going to talk and share in that threshold of the story. And that's very sacred space. Very sacred space. The children come forward because it's their time, and it's your time too. But they come forward. There's a big moment when they feel old enough and brave enough, and there are enough children to come forward. Does anybody remember that moment when you've noticed a child or a grandchild who finally felt old enough to go forward for the time for all ages? And maybe they pulled someone with them, and then maybe one day they didn't need that person. And I usually sit up front and I can see their faces. You all can't see their faces unless you're in the choir sometimes. And it's amazing because they are in a certain space. So I would say, okay, are you ready to cross the threshold? And they'd say, yeah. And I'd say, wait a minute. I would say, back up a second. Okay, you got to shake it out. You got to shake out the breakfast with the syrup and sugar if you should have had sugar and whatever, the running, because my son was a runner up here, and he really embarrassed me years ago. And I said, you can't run up there. I'd say, we got to walk and imagine you're crossing the threshold into sacred space. And we'd go like this. Are you ready? We'd say yes. And here we would be in the sacred circle of story. And I might ask the children, if you were going to have a party, what would you do to prepare? And I ask you, if you were going to have a party, whether or not you like parties or throw a party often, if you were going to have a party, what would you do to prepare? Just kind of shout it out, only shouting because... Clean the house. Just to get it dirty again. But right, we do that, right? We clean the house. What else do we do to have a party? Cook. Cook. Got to have the food. What else? What? Send out invitations. Right. What else do we do? Decorate. I never think of decorating. That's excellent. What else do we do if we're going to have a party?
Make sure there's enough dancers
Yes. Music, dancing. I'll try not to pounce on the second child to walk in. That's okay. Okay, so that's a party. Some standard things. We all might have our little style of what does it mean to throw a party. Do we all agree on that? Anything very controversial? Speak up now, we're in a crowd. Okay, next question that I would ask the children would be sitting here in this sacred space. I'd say, now, if you were going to get ready for sacred space, or a spiritual time, or a peaceful time, what would you do to get ready? It's not what we would do in the spiritual space, the sacred space. What would we do to get ready? And I ask you.
Be quiet. Be quiet.
Be quiet.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Deep breaths. Sorry, I have to keep asking. I don't hear it great. You can probably all hear each other. Deep breaths. Get quiet. What else?
Mentally prepare myself by calming me.
Say again, please.
Mentally prepare myself by calming me.
Mentally prepare ourselves by calming. Are these things easy to do?
No.
But do we need to do them?
Yeah.
We all do them somewhat. We all do them if we're coming to church. Most of us know there are certain things you should do to prepare yourself. I was just reminded today I should have my tea or coffee before I walked into the sanctuary, because it would not be looked upon favorably to be drinking coffee here. And I respect that in this sacred space. And we might want to run around, get our energy out. We might want to light candles, quite like this. We may want to pick music that creates a certain mood. We may want to lower the lights, artificial lights. We may want to get ourselves ready with those deep breaths, getting quiet, to be in that sacred space. And so, I'm going to step out of the story circle now to continue into worship. You can be thinking about this, what Karen will explore more deeply.
My daughter Becca gave me a book of poems by Mary Oliver. It's her new book, Blue Horses, and I picked out a beautiful poem for the prayer meditation this morning. As deep as I ever went into the forest, I came upon an old stone bench, very, very old, and around it a clearing, and beyond that, trees taller and older than I had ever seen. Such silence. It really wasn't so far from a town, but it seemed all the clocks in the world had stopped counting. So it was hard to suppose the usual rules applied. Sometimes there's only a hint, a possibility. What's magical sometimes has deeper roots than reason. I hope everyone knows that. I sat on the bench waiting for something. An angel, perhaps, or dances with the legs of goats. No, I didn't see either, but only, I think, because I didn't stay long enough.
Little star of Bethlehem, do we see thee now? Do we see thee shining o'er the tall trees? Little child
things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know. Please let the people say, Amen.